I am Mahalakshmi. I am working as assistant professor in EC department, P.S.R Engineering College, Sivakasi. So today we are going to discuss about the introduction of embedded system. So before entering into the session, we must know the concept of system. So we already know it. The system, that is nothing but it's a way of working or organizing or doing one or more things according to the fixed plan, program or set of rules. If a system will be normally consisting of various rules and the fixed plan. Normally the system is also an arrangement. It will be consisting of several units. So the unit is depending upon the plan or programs or set of rules. Next one, we have to discuss about the basic examples of system. So let us consider the basic equipment, watch. So what is the function of watch? It will be showing the time one. And next, what are the parts will be available in the watch? The hardware, needles, batteries, dial, chassis and straps. So it will be consisting of set of rules. So the rules, there is nothing but the watch will be normally considering a needles, right? So all the needles move the clockwise direction only. So it will be consisting of three needles. One is thin needles and long needles and the shorter needles. So the thin needles rotates every seconds level and the long needles rotates every minute level and the short needles rotates every hour basics. So once the condition will be satisfied, all the needles return to the original position after the 12 hours from the starting point. So let us discuss about the basics of embedded system. We already know the concept of system. You already know it, right? The system, that is nothing but it is a organization or set of rules based upon the program or task, right? So the embedded system, that is nothing but it is a combination of computer hardware and computer software. So and the hardware and software will be embedded into the one particular component and it will be performing the more than one task in a single platform. So that is called as the embedded system. So here we have to discuss about the basic example of embedded system. The washing machine is the best example of embedded system. So what is the function of washing machine? So it is an automatic cloth washing system. So it will be consisting of several hardware boards. So there is nothing but stated display panel, switches, dials, motors, power supply, control unit and water level sensors and solenoid valve. So it will be consisting of several rules. So that is nothing but, so it is an automatic cloth washing system, right? So the function of the washing machine is washing. So it will be washed by the spinning process, rinse, drying, wash over by the blinking. So each these stages will be completed. It will be indicated into the process stage. In case any disturbance or interruption will be occurred, it will be executing the remaining task. So once it will be stopping by the rinsing stage or drying stage. So after that it will be executing the drying stage. Next one. So this is the concept of embedded. Here it will be using the two type of memory. One is the ROM memory, another one is the RAM memory. So it will be, the software will be embedded into the ROM. So it doesn't need any secondary storages. Next one. So the main significance of embedded system. So why the people are always preferred in the embedded system based upon the compact size and low cost and simple design. So these are all the reasons always the human will be the familiar to the embedded system due to the compact size, low cost and simple designs. So these aspects made embedded system very popular in the human sites. So this is the basics blocks for embedded system. So normally the embedded is a combination of computer hardware and computer software. So normally it will be having the central processing unit and input and output and bus. So here it will be using the two type of buses. One is the address bus, another one is the data bus. So the address bus can be used to do transferring the address location of memory and the data bus can be used to do transferring the data from input side to the output sides. Next one, RAM and ROM. So we already know the difference between the RAM and ROM. What is the use of RAM? So RAM, that is nothing but random access memory and ROM, that is nothing but read only memory. So the RAM will be already considered as a volatile memory, that is nothing but it can be used to storing the data temporarily in your computer. And ROM, that is called as the non-volatile memory. So that it can be used to storing the data in your computer in a permanent process, right? So next one, timer, interrupt, serial port and parallel port. So these basic blocks are normally available in the embedded system. Next one, the microprocessor, right? So it will be consisting of various parts. It is similar to that of the basics blocks of embedded system. So that is a RAM, ROM, input, output, timer and serial communication. So normally the CPU will be the general purpose microprocessor. It will be having the various blocks. The connector to the CPU through the buses. The two kind of buses will be used in the embedded system. One is the address bus, another one is the data bus. We already know the concept. What is the use of address bus? It can be used to carry out the addressing of memory location. What is the use of data bus? It can be used to carry out the data from one source to the destination. And next one, the microcontroller. So here the microcontroller is normally called as the small computers. So it will be mainly used for this specific task. It is also considering the various devices, various parts, that is the RAM, ROM, timer, serial ports, but these blocks are inbuilt and integrated into the single chip. So that only it will be act as a small computer and used for the specific task. Next one, the advantages of embedded system. We already know it. What is the significance of embedded system? Due to the compact size, low cost and simple design. So based upon this, so the main advantages of embedded system is low cost. And next one, small size. Comparing to the previous version, it will be the similar and minimum product level. Next one, high reliability. So that is nothing but it can be easily updated for the new version. Next one, fastest operation. Comparing to the processor and controller, it will be performing the highest speed of operations. Easy to manufacture and fewer interconnection. So it doesn't have any congested connection between the chips. So it will be having the fewer connection. So that is the advantages of embedded systems. And next one, the classification of embedded system. Here the embedded system will be classified into three types. One is a small scale embedded system, medium scale embedded system and large scale embedded system. So the first one is a small scale embedded system. The small scale embedded system is a 8-bit or 16-bit microcontroller. So the previous three types of embedded system will be having the complexity in the hardware and software connection. The first one, small scale embedded system, it is a 8-bit or 16-bit microcontroller and it will be having the little bit complexity of hardware and software connections. So comparing to this medium scale and large scale, it will be having the fewer complexity, both the hardware connection and the software connection, and they may be even be a battery operator. So why we are using here battery? That is nothing but due to the running process, the power will be dissipated. So each and every running process, the power will be consumed and power will be dissipated. So if you are using the small scale embedded system, the power will be dissipated. So we need to control the dissipation level of power due to the running process. That's why we are preferring the batteries. And next one, usually it will be using the C language for operating the software. So C is always preferred in the small scale embedded system. At the same time, the following programming tools are used in the small scale embedded system, that is the editor, assembler and cross assembler. And next one, medium scale embedded system. It is a 16 or 32-bit microcontroller. So for the small scale embedded system, that is a 8-bit microcontroller or 16-bit microcontroller. For the medium scale embedded system, is a 16 or 32-bit microcontroller. So the another name of the medium scale embedded system is, it will be called as a digital signal processor. Here the signal will be processed by using the medium scale embedded system. And the another name of the medium scale embedded system is a RISC processor, that is nothing but reduced instruction set computers. So comparing to the small scale embedded system, it will be having complexity of both hardware and software. It will be having the larger complexity in both hardware and software interconnections. Here it will be using the various programming tools, that is real time operating system, RTOS. RTOS will be act as a programming tool for medium scale embedded system and source code engineering tool and IDE. So that is nothing but integrated development environment. So Xilinx will be called as IDE environment. IDE, it will be act as a IDE platform. So these platforms are used in the medium scale embedded system. So next one, sophisticated or large scale embedded system. So it will be having larger enormous complexity in the hardware and software, and it using the scalable processor or configurable processor and logic arrays, and it constrained by the processing speed available in the hardware units. So in the hardware units, the speed will be constrained for the large scale embedded system. Next one. So this is a layered architecture of embedded system. We already know the concept of embedded system. The embedded, that is nothing but it is a combination of computer hardware and computer software. So these are all integrated or embedded and it will be executed into the platform, and it will be performing the operation or performing the applications, right. So normally it will be consisting of hardware and software. First one, it will be the hardware, and the hardware will be belongs to the operating system, and the operating system will be run by using the application software, right. So the main equipment is the hardware, and then hardware belongs to the software, and software belongs to the application software, right. Next one. So the application of embedded system. For the real time, all the products, why the product will be made by using the hardware and software, it will be based upon the embedded oriented, right. So it will be used in the various applications, various industries. The first one is the medical industry. So the embedded medical industry equipments are pacemakers. What is the use of pacemakers? So it will be mainly used in the cardiac patients. So what is the main use of cardiac patient is when the heart impulses, right. The improper heart impulses are regularly propped by using the pacemakers. And next one is the patient monitoring system, injection system and intensive care system. So these systems are normally available in the medical and these are based upon the embedded system. Next one, office equipments. We already know it in the printers, copier, Xerox machine, fax, these are all depending upon the embedded oriented. Next one, tools, multimeters, oscilloscope, line tester, global positioning system, GPS tracker, these are all based upon the embedded oriented. And banking, transportation, next one, automobiles, building system, agriculture, waste, these are all the based upon the embedded oriented, right. For example, let us consider the automobiles. So the engine management, trip computers, cruise control, mobilizer, car alarm, these are all the based upon the embedded oriented. So the main use of cruise control is that is also used to controlling the speed level of the car equipment, right. Next one, immobilizer, it will be the security device. So the proper key will be attached into the key holder for the car equipment, otherwise it cannot be accepting the input. So next one, so for the household appliances. So for the household appliances, for the embedded will be placing the major role in home automation, right. So microwave ovens, televisions, DVD players and recorders, these are all the based on embedded oriented. Okay, thank you.